Hi everyone, I'm Michelle here at Muskoka Yarn Connection in sunny Muskoka, and we are coming to the tail end of our summer bloom knit along. So this is week 3 if you've been following along. If not, you can catch the previous videos in our event section on Facebook. So what we've been featuring for the knit along is Alpine Bloom by Caitlin Hunter. The link will be in the comments below to the Ravelry pattern. And Alpine Bloom is a top-down colorwork design with a tiny bit of lacework in the border on the neck, the sleeves, and a regular rib at the bottom. And the color work, we've chosen to use a gradient color. It looks great with solid or multicolor, but we've chosen gradient. So Caitlin has a size range of 36 inches finished. This one is the smallest, up to 68 inches around the chest width, and on a 3.25 and a 3.5 millimeter circular. And then the other choice is Miserina, also by Caitlin Hunter. And this one is also top down with color work, some cables, some eyelet lace, and ribbing on the borders. And this one is knit on also a 3.5 millimeter and a 2.75 for the ribbings. 36 inch finished size up to a 72 inch chest. So both of the main color yarns are the same for either design. You can choose Allegria, which is by Manos, hand dyed on a superwash merino nylon base. And then our in-house brand, which is Mary Lino, is a combination of superwash merino and linen. So that is what has been chosen for this sample. That's the bomb color. And this is 437 yards fingering weight. This is 435 yards fingering weight. So very similar. And then for contrast, the Nestle, which I've shown you for a few weeks now, we have four shades left in the gradient colorway. This is the one I've used up here, and it's a pretty combo of burgundy into eggplant, gray, mauve tones. And these are also fingering weight. So this is a nettle viscose mixed with superwash merino and made in Italy. So 437 yards, so identical to our Mary Lino. And this colorway has quite a bit more purple and denim. And then we just sold this color today to a knit-alonger who's going to catch up with us. And this is shades of autumn tones, reds into burgundy and dark gray. And then this one is periwinkle into denim, navy blue, and a teal green. So that's the colorway I've chosen for my version of Miserina. I'm using the berry color as the main in the Mary Lino, and that pretty periwinkle blue into a teal for the contrast. I'll bring that up to the camera in a bit to show you a demonstration on finishing. So that's where we're at. We had our in-shop knit-along today. I'll post a couple pictures of the progress. All of our knit-alongers in our group are doing the Alpine Bloom. I think a few of you are doing Miserina. We haven't seen any progress pictures. Oh yeah, we have. We've seen one from Catherine. So we'll have our last trivia question at the end of this segment. And the first 2 weeks we had, who did we have the first week? Oh, we had Mary Lee. She won the first trivia ballot. So it's in the final ballot box towards the grand prize. We'll do the draw next Friday at 5 p.m. And then last week we had Yvonne winning the second trivia ballot. So there'll be a trivia question at the end, so stay tuned. So this week, I just want to mention what I've done differently on Miserina. Once you finish the color work, There is lots and lots of solid color to get you to the bottom ribbing. And Caitlin Hunter has given us a choice of 2 different stitches that you can incorporate into the lower body section. So here on the chart, you can see that she has suggested either doing little eyelets, just a simple yarn over, knit 2 together. And she has them staggered every 5th round throughout. So that would tie in nicely with the lace work, which is at the top of the pullover. And if you're not a fan of the open stitch, then she has given a tiny little purl stitch, a double purl stitch, which is also every 5th and 6th round. I have chosen not to do either of those. I just wanted to be a little bit different. So I'm doing a textured stitch, which is called Make 3. And if anybody is interested and wants to incorporate it into their Alpine Bloom or Miserina, I can put it in the event page. I'll put the instructions for what I've done. So it's a little textured stitch. It just gives some interest. It reminds me of flower buds, so it goes nicely with the colorwork design, and it also ties in with the lace work at the top. And I'm doing it every 8th round and a repeat of 10 stitches staggered. So it is 8, 9, and 18 round repeat. So that was my decision, and I'm enjoying it. It also breaks up the boring plain stocking stitch that many of us don't look forward to after we have such an amazing color work and cable interlude through the yoke of the sweater. So I'm just going to show you how to finish the top cast on edge, because as you know, when you work in the round, there's always a little bit of a gap, and that is right between your first cast on stitch and your last stitch. I'm going to thread that on my darning needle. Which is yarn slightly knotted. Okay, so all we're going to do is take the darning needle into the stitch on the very right hand side. So you can see there's a tiny knot at the top, and if you can get your needle in there. So I'm threading it through, and then I'm going to come right around, full circle back to where I started. So right back where my yarn came from, I'm doing a little loop around. And by tightening that up, I've closed in the gap, and then I can just sew it down the back of my short little ribbing there. And remember too, on Miserina, the edge does curl over. There's a roll edge commencing before the regular rib section. So that will hide the end perfectly. So same thing will apply on Alpine Bloom. And then of course, when you turn it inside out, you've got a few ends which need to be woven in. And that would be this end at the bottom of the color work. And then the beginning end somewhere along here. Yep. So I started with the teal and I ended with the teal. That's a coincidence. So you may be tempted to sew your ends straight up and down again, which is okay, but in traditional color work or ferrule, we generally sew with the direction of the stitches. So that will be horizontal instead of vertical. So you're just going to go under a couple of bars and then down through a couple of bars and then up in a wave motion, and try to sew it in for about 2 to 4 inches. And then before you cut the end, you're just going to pull your work slightly and that will loosen it up, and then you can cut carefully. No knots are needed. So there will be a few ends to sew in there. And the only changes I've made on the Alpine Bloom to the overall design, I added another 1.5 inches to the body length before doing the ribbing. And Caitlin asked for a knit one, purl one ribbing to finish off the pullover. I did a knit one, purl one twisted rib. So that's just knit one through the back, purl one, knit one through the back, purl one. I followed her directions for the sleeve cuffs. And if you're not a fan of grafting, you may not want to do the lace cuff because these are knit separately and then grafted onto the live stitches from your stitch holder on the sleeves. It's a little bit extra work, but if you knit a lot of socks and you may be used to grafting already, I'll put a link down below with some tips and a tutorial on grafting if you're not familiar with it. And if you don't want to do the lace cuff and you don't want to do the grafting, then I know quite a few of the knit-alongers are just going to finish off the sleeves with the same ribbing that is at the bottom of the sweater. On Miserina, it's a simple rib with the roll edge on the neck, the bottom of the pullover, and the sleeve cuffs. So I will keep that all the same. So I'm hoping next week for the live grand prize draw, I will have Miserina completed. I've only got about another 5 inches to go on the body, and then the ribbing and the sleeve cuffs won't take long. Okay, so if you have any questions about your pattern or any of the techniques and you didn't see a video in one of our previous event posts, then feel free to leave a comment, send a message, or call me and I can answer any questions about either design. So this is the trivia question. If you want to post your best guess in the answer in the comments below as an answer, and then we will pick a randomly selected ballot winner in 2 days. How many pattern designs does Caitlin Hunter have on her Ravelry page? So that should be easy to guess or check. So thanks everybody for following along on this knit along adventure. And I will be back next week at 5 p.m. sharp on Friday to do the live draw. And I will keep the prize a secret until then. Have a great weekend and happy Labor Day.